Good morning on a very cold and damp November day in the UK. It's about a month now since I returned from my Camino adventure. And while I was doing the Camino, I was sending a little video home each day to the family and friends so they could enjoy and feel part of my journey and follow my progress. I'm really happy to say when I got home that a lot of people had really enjoyed that, and a lot of people have come and spoke to me about it and said how much they enjoyed it and felt part of it, and probably a little bit of escapism for them while I was over there. Anyway, I've decided to put all those little films together to make a longer film, and this is really the introduction to that. Now, I want to stress it's not professional, it's very amateurish in fact, and I'm quite nervy to begin with when I'm making those films and things, so just enjoy it for what it is. It's just my record of my Camino. So, my name's Simon, and this was my Camino. Morning everyone. After a long day's travelling yesterday, I've made it to the start point, Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. Behind me is the Pilgrim's passport office, so I've been in, got my passport, and I'm ready to start my journey. I'm heading, well, all together I'm heading to Santiago de Compostela, which is 800 miles away, but I've got to get across the Pyrenees first, so that's my challenge for today. So I'm heading in that direction. It's mainly uphill today. It's a really tough first day. 25 kilometers ahead is my next stop, but I thought I'd share the first few steps with the journey with you, so here we go. Wish me luck. Onwards and upwards, mainly upwards actually. Take care, see you soon. Just a quick update for those that are interested. Getting towards the end of the first day now. Walked 26.5 kilometers so far. Nearly at my next destination, Montchelvals. It's been a really challenging day, to be honest. They weren't kidding when they said the first 20 kilometers were uphill. 20.68 I think you'll find before we went over the top and could see the other side of the Pyrenees. On the positive, it's been gorgeous weather, big t-shirt all day. My feet are fine, no blisters, very windy on top. We're getting buffeted about, but other than that, it's been fantastic. All right, see you tomorrow. Coming up to the end of day two, got 20 kilometers under the belt already. We're just coming into the town of Ziburi. My destination is not much beyond this town, but I just thought I'd show you how beautiful it was here. Beautiful little stone bridge there as you come into the town itself. So today's been a little bit easier than yesterday. It had to be, really. The hills have been up and down, but have been much more gentle than yesterday. So all good, feet are still good. Just got to find somewhere to eat, I think, now. But have a look around the square here. Really beautiful little town. Lots of pilgrims en route. Bye. Good morning from Pamplona. Been for the bulls, the bull run in the city. Not today, luckily. It will be in July apparently, so safe today. So it's a beautiful city, Pamplona. Thriving this morning, buzzing. I'm 16k into the walk today. Going to stop here for lunch. I just wanted to walk a few steps so you can get a feel for it. It's really busy. Lots of pilgrims, lots of people, tourists milling about, and locals, I suspect. Never been before here, but looks like it's worth a visit, definitely. Not that I'm going to have much time to do the touristy stuff today. So I've got another 12-13 kilometers to go today. I'm getting ahead of schedule, so I'm doing really well. Just in the square here now, so I'll just spin round so you can get big buildings in the background there. Lots of people milling about, really busy. I'm going for lunch. Bye. Good morning. Early start today. We've climbed up to 790 meters up to a ridge. It's where we're at. It's called Alto del Pedron, and there's a monument up here that's, I'm really excited to be here. It's one of those iconic monuments on the route that everybody gets their photos taken. But firstly, just look at that stunning view. It's a gorgeous day. The sun's just come up and looking for miles and miles across the plains there. It looks amazing. I'm going to head over this way. So the sun's just rising in the east there. Just start to see it coming over. Oh, it's amazing. There's a bridge, you can just see it for as far as the eyes can see, and there's the wind turbines on the top of the ridge. So that's one direction to the east. We spin. Here's the monument. So there's metal figures of pilgrims throughout the ages. So this is the modern day pilgrims, and as you go
Oh, you found something.
see the pilgrims going back in time, of the Middle Ages and beyond. Right to the earliest time. It's amazing up here. It's absolutely beautiful. And there beyond, can you see the wind turbines going as far as the eye can see along the ridge there. Fantastic up here though. Morning from a lovely sunny day in Spain. It's day 5. Got a good early start. We're making good progress. Done 11.5k so far. Blister update. I've got blisters on both heels, just from the constant heel strike, but nothing too much to worry about. Just keep cracking on. It's all good. So this morning I am at Bodegas Irache, or something like that, or better known as the place where the wine fountain is. So if we go through here, and if I spin round, you can see there's 2 options, water or wine. It's before breakfast and I wouldn't normally, but when it's on offer like this and it's a Camino opportunity, why wouldn't you? So let's see if I can do this without dropping everything. Switching hands there. I've already got my shell to drink from. A little bit of, looks like sparkling rosé by the looks of that. You'd love this, Kath. All the best. Cheers, everybody. Gran Camino. Wow. Cheers. So something a little different today. The last couple of days I've shown you some of the highlights of the trip. Today I'm going to give you a little bit more taste of the reality. So if you can see that path trailing behind me for, well, I've been on it 15 kilometers so far today. Step after step. My hips are sore. My muscles are aching. My heels are killing us with a repeated impact. But to be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. This is all part of the Camino as far as I'm concerned. And I'm enjoying this bit just as much as any other bit. So it's just a case of keeping plodding on. I've done 15 kilometers so far today. I've got another 15 to go. But I just wanted you to get a taste that it's not all the highlights. I've got to be covering the miles each day. And I'm making the most of the good weather. It's a little bit more cloudy today. So I actually got up at 6 o'clock. Was on the road by 6:45. It was black dark. I had my little light out. But it's meant I've got a really good start today and we're getting the miles under our belt. So yeah, reality check today for everybody. Keep plodding on. Bien Camino. Good afternoon from sunny Navarrete. It's day 7 of the challenge. Day 7 has been complete. I've done 24 kilometers. I've showered and just come to have a look around the town, which is very beautiful. If you look over my shoulders there. So yeah, day 7. So I just thought I'd reflect. This time last week I was on the plane coming here and didn't know what to expect. So now after a week of the Camino, starting to get an idea of the challenge. Physically, it is tough. I've done 7 days now. I've walked quite hard each day and I'm still less than a quarter of the distance for the whole thing. So that gives you some indication of that distance is involved. I'm getting used to the physical challenge of it now. My feet are getting used to the challenge, so I think we're fine with that. They suggest on the information that the first 10 days is a physical challenge and after that becomes more of a mental, so I've got that to look forward to. Fantastic. The other thing is just the change in routine. You develop a new routine here. Your morning is making sure you've got your bag packed and everything in your bag is there. One morning I set off without my buff and I had to go back to get it. It's just 3/4 of a kilometre, but that on top of what you're already doing you can do without. And then your day is making sure you've got enough food and you've got enough drink to drink and fluids on board and things. And then at the night it's just making sure you've got somewhere to sleep and then repeat the next day and repeat. So, but that's all good. You don't have to worry about anything else. You've just got those simple basics to worry about, which is nice. What was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, the phone side of it and things like that. Pretty much don't have my phone on all day while I'm walking and things. You want to be aware of your surroundings and the people, and literally everybody you pass says Bien Camino to you, whether they're locals or pilgrims. And you have numerous conversations throughout the day with people, all telling their story of why they're here, where they're going, what they're doing, etc, etc. So you don't have time to have your phone out. The only time I bring my phones out to take some photos and do these videos and things like that. But yeah, all good. I think tonight I'm going to be eating in one of the cafes or little restaurants or something. Usually we get a pilgrim's menu in the albergue. That's probably what I'll do tomorrow. I'll probably show you an albergue so you can see what type of accommodation I'm staying in. It's fairly basic to be honest, but we're all in the same boat. So it's all good. All right, catch you tomorrow. Bye. Day 8. I'm just up at 7:15 in the morning and just leaving Navarrete. But I just wanted you to get a feel of how silent and quiet and still it is this time of the morning. It's dark, as you can see, and the route brings you through all the historic parts of all these old towns and things, and they've all got really narrow streets with tall buildings each side, and it gives you a real sense of that you're sort of stepping back in time in history and you were walking on the same route that maybe many others have walked on in the past and things, and you get a sense of a little bit of feeling and what you're walking in their shoes and traveling the same route that they have done. I'll just tilt that back a little bit. But yeah, it's really beautiful. It's really still. It's really quiet. Little pussycat there. But yeah, every town, every city, every village we've been through has these little narrow streets with tall buildings. I presume they're built like that so it helps keep it cool in the heat of the summer and things. But it's quite atmospheric at this time in the morning. And it's quiet and still and takes you back in time, really. All right, onwards and upwards. Here we go again. So for the first time I'm stopping at one of the municipal albergues tonight, and I've just come to my room here and give you a look inside. It's a tiny little room, 2 beds in it. It reminds me of the cells at Crumlin Road Prison, if I'm totally honest, but it'll do the job. Behind it's a little cupboard, and that's about it. This is different than what I've been staying in other nights. Other nights I've been staying in basically small dorms with bunk beds, sort of 4, 5, 6 bunk beds and things, but this is the first municipal one, so it is a little bit different. So the showers and toilets and showers and things remind me of the old school facilities. There's a common area with a little kitchen behind the wall here. I think there's kitchen and washing area. If you close to your kitchen, and then out you can dry your clothes. To be fair, there is a lovely seated area in the sunshine here with a bit of a fountain. I suspect my feet will be going in there at some point. But yeah, that's the luxury of it tonight. All this for €12, about £10 per night. This is the cheapest one I've stayed in so far. Good morning, day 9 on the Camino. As you can see, the sun's just come up. It's going to be another lovely warm day. So, good things so far today. My knees and my hips feel absolutely fine. It's like they know the crack now. They know what's expected and they're just cracking on. And even my feet, my heels, I dipped them in the fountain for half an hour yesterday, cooled them off, and they feel good today as well. Very little pain from the heels anymore now. So that's all fantastic. Yesterday on the day 8 film, it was very early on, and if you remember, it was dark in the morning when we were setting off and things. I had a bit of a nightmare after that, if I'm honest. I was going to get some breakfast when I got somewhere to eat, and there was nowhere to eat for like 17 kilometers. And I'd gone past the hungry point by then. I did try and eat some stuff at that point, but I didn't really get a good meal until the evening. And I noticed in the evening I started to feel a bit shivery and a bit cold, even though it was boiling hot. And by the point I went to bed, I was feeling quite ill. And I think I've developed a bit of a chest infection. I mean, the way I was feeling last night, I didn't think I'd even be walking today. But so I've got my sleeping bag, my sleeping sack thing, and just wrapped up. Good night's sleep, sweated it out as such, and I feel much better today. But that's a lesson learned, certainly. I need to eat regularly. I've probably lost quite a bit of weight already, to be honest. It's not that you don't want to eat, it doesn't happen for some reason. So I'll try and eat more regularly anyway. So all good. We'll keep going on today. So today, got another 26 kilometers to do today, all being well. Let's see how it goes. All right, see you later. Hi everybody, day 10 done. And I think I've hit the jackpot with the accommodation. If you look over my shoulder, that's the patio bar of a rather nice hotel, and the albergue is attached to that hotel. I'll put a separate video of that later just to show you. It's really lovely. Let me find a seat in the shade. It's really hot at present around here. 27 degrees in the afternoon, and it's set to stay that way for the coming days and even weeks ahead. So it's really looking good weather-wise. A little bit about where we've been traveling. So for the last few days we've been in the Rioja region, famous for its red wine and things, and so left and right of us has just been vineyards as far as the eye can see, with ripe red, purple grapes waiting to be harvested. Looks like they're well on with the harvest at present. A lot of activity going on. And then the last 24 hours we've gone from the grapes into a sunflower area where there's fields full of sunflowers, which they're sort of at the point of wilting now. Their heads are full of seeds, and they must be getting close to the harvest point. So yeah, it's a distinct change from one to the other. the towns we've been going through. From Navarrete we went to Najire, to Santo Domingo, and to Belorando, and then we're close to Burgos, which is a big historic town. I'm hoping to take at least a day off there and just have a proper look around that. But it's hard to think about actually doing the touristy stuff when you got this target that you're aiming towards. I was going to talk a little bit about the nationality of the people who are en route. It really is multinational. Obviously there's quite a lot of Spanish and French, as you'd expect. There's an awful lot of South Koreans walking in on bikes. There's lots of Americans, Canadians, but it really is multinational. Last night, for instance, at the albergue for lunch, we had 2 Japanese, a Finn, a Dane, an Italian, and myself. And it's like that every night. You just lots of different people, different nationalities sat around the table each night, chatting, trying to communicate. So it's all good fun. The other thing I was going to say about the pilgrims was just how it's becoming obvious there's 2 distinct groups of pilgrims. There's those who are there for the physical challenge of doing the route and getting from start to finish, or the section that they choose to do, and then there's others who are here for a more spiritual experience and religious type experience. And over the last 24 hours there's been a couple of examples that sort of starts to explain the difference, so I'll just quickly tell you about those. So the chap who ran the albergue last night, he basically was saying that he tells everybody to slow down, to breathe, to look, to listen, to hear, to take more time, and to soak it all up basically. And I'm saying, yeah, that's fine, but I've got to be at a certain point at a certain time to meet the family, and then to continue to get the plane home and things. And I said, I don't want to get behind schedule. He says, oh, his answer to that was, if you get behind schedule, you can just jump on a bus and catch up in an hour. And I'm like, I couldn't jump on a bus. I've come here to walk the Camino. I couldn't jump on the bus. I'd never sleep for 10 years when I got home if I'd known I jumped on the bus and not walked the full thing. So to me, it just started to explain that difference between those spiritually are here for the journey and will take it as it comes, or those who are here for the physical challenge, who want to do it properly and get to the end point as such. So for the spiritual people, it's about the journey. For physical people, it's about the end point. And there's another example. Yesterday we had a long climb up a big drag up a big hill, and 200 meters from the top of that hill there's a little sign in Spanish and in English, and it basically said, well done, you're nearly there, 200 meters, you'll be at the top, help yourself to some food, some drink, some fruit, and that was it. So 200 meters later on, there's a table there, and as I got to the table, there was a couple in front of me. They'd been chatting to the chap there, and they moved on, and the chap had a chat with me. He's asking where I was from and how far I was going, that sort of thing. And I took an apple. You didn't have to pay or anything, but most people gave a donation. And I moved on, and as I moved on, I was eating my apple, and the couple who'd been in front of me, the chap was walking back towards the table, and he was sobbing. He was absolutely sobbing his heart out. And his wife, a little bit further on, she was crying as well. I'm saying, are you okay? What's happened? Is something wrong? And she says, oh, it's okay, don't worry. So I just kept walking, didn't think much of it. And then about an hour later, the couple walked past me, and the woman came over. She grabbed my arm. She didn't speak English, but she managed to get across why they were so upset. So she basically said they were crying because everything was so wonderful and so perfect at that point, and it made them feel so great. And I'm thinking, I don't know, it got to the top of the hill, and the chap was really nice, and he gave us some, and again, it's that, I suspect it's that spiritual difference. They were there to see that moment and that point in the journey that was so perfect. I couldn't imagine feeling like that just at a point like that. Maybe at the end I might feel like that when I've got to my goal and things, but again, it maybe starts to explain the difference between the spiritual side, the journey for them, and the physical side for me. It's about getting to the end, to be honest, and and seeing Santiago as the sort of the finishing line as such. Hopefully that explains things a little bit. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye. Now look where I'm staying tonight. So that's the entrance to a big posh hotel. And that's the big posh hotel. But if you just come up here, we'll sneak in the side entrance. So attached to the big posh hotel is an albergue. When we come in here, look how lovely it all is. And there's a lovely sort of patio area there, serving drinks and the bar and things. We'll sneak up beside that. Sorry if I'm being quiet, I don't pay attention to myself. Not my flip-flops. Okay, see the little moat-like bridge over to this building. This is the albergue. It's certainly different than many we've had. It's the usual setup inside. Take your shoes off. Showers and toilets and things. Communal areas. And then hello. The sleeping areas. And a little kitchen. All good tonight though. Look at that view out the window. Hi everybody, day 11 complete, another 25 kilometers in the bag and another glorious sunny day. I think we've finished walking in about 27 degrees this afternoon, so all good. If you remember, we started at Villa Franca, the nice albergue by the posh hotel. I hadn't planned an early start this morning, but when somebody in the dorm decides to get up at 6:15 and switch the light on, pretty much we're all getting up at that point. So I thought, right, we'll make the most of it. I knew we had a steep climb this morning, so I thought, right, I'll get up and get some good pictures on the tops of the sunrise and things. So that was the plan. So I went out at 6:50. It was really cold because we are quite high up. And then we were right, the landscape changed again. We were right into the tree line, and so we were going through forests and things, and it made it really dark. Luckily I had a light with me so I could keep on track as such. So we climbed and climbed for about the first 4 or 5 kilometers, and as the sun came up on the top, I'm thinking, great, this is going to be fantastic, this. And we were at a height of 1,120 meters, I believe, at the highest point. And when you think high pike's about 650 meters, it shows what sort of height we were. Anyway, we got up to the top, and there's just a big plateau there, and the forest just continued. So the track went, the top was forest covered. There was no chance of getting any decent photos. Everywhere you looked around you was just trees and things. So yeah, I was up there for dawn, and it was a lovely day, but I couldn't get any views or any photos. So slightly gutted about that, but at least it meant I got a good start to the day's walking and things. So a little bit about the forests up there that we've been walking through. I said it's a change in the landscape. It's very forested, mountainous, and most of or a high proportion of the trees up there were oak trees. I was surprised to see. So I don't know if it's a traditional forest or a conservation area. We've come over the top now when we're heading down. We've got Burgos in the distance, a big historic city. I think it's quite a large city. I think population about 180,000, the guidebook says, so quite a big city we're heading towards. So I should be there tomorrow, and I'm hoping maybe to spend a day or so just exploring that and having a day off from the walking. So we'll see how that pans out over the next couple of days. Behind me you can see tonight's albergue, really nice actually, and very good value. It's €10 for the night and €12 for the three-course meal with bread and wine. So that's all really good, and that I suppose brings us on to the how much all of this is costing me and how expensive it is or it isn't. So Kath would say I'm tight with my money. I would say I'm very careful. I just don't like wasting money because it's hard earned. But I think it's really good value over here, I have to say. The albergues have been 12 to 15 euros, and the meals have been 10 to 15 euros for three-course meals in the evening with wine and bread. Other meals, you sort of cafe stops and things, you can get like a sandwich, a cake and a cup of coffee for like £5, equivalent to £5, which I know when we go in UK and you get a sandwich, a cake and a cuppa, you probably haven't got change out £20, have you, these days? It's very different. So I'm generally pleased with the value of things over here. In the 10 days I've been here so far, I spent less than €400, so it's basically costing me about €40 a day for accommodation, all my food, any extras I have like beers or ice cream. Or one essential item I bought is some moisturizer, just because of the sun making the skin dry and things, but I haven't spent anything beyond that. But it's really good value, and I wouldn't, if anybody's thinking about doing this in the future, I wouldn't let the financial side put you off. It's far cheaper than it costs you in the UK, that's for sure. Okay, we'll hopefully see you in Burgos tomorrow. Okay, take care, bye. Day 12 of the Camino, and I'm in Burgos. It was only a 15-kilometre walk to get here this morning. It wasn't particularly a beautiful walk. It was around the airport, through the vast industrial area, until we eventually got here to the old town. But it's absolutely gorgeous here. So there's a lovely broad walkway here, you can see, next to the river. If you come down here, it's really lovely down here. You get a feel of what it feels like. So there's these old trees each side of this walkway, and they're providing natural shade. It's absolutely gorgeous. I wandered down here. I'll tell you a little bit about today. So the main thing today, I've met a young girl called Yael from Egypt. She's only 18. She's just completed her college as such, and she's taking some time out before she has to do the national service in Israel. So it's been really interesting hearing about that side of things and what life's like in Israel and things. It sounds actually like quite a nice place to live, if I'm honest. But I've never known that without chatting to her. So she's only 18, and there's a possibility that she might be able to join us when Lottie, Daisy and Luke join us, because it'd be nice. Obviously she's more their age group than mine, but we'll see if that pans out enough. She's having a bit of a nightmare because her knees have been given a jip with all the hills in those first few days. She's had to get a bus to Burgos today. I'm thinking Dad's actually going to fly out and meet her tomorrow and walk some of it with her. So hopefully it'll all work out well for her, and she's making the Camino her own. So as we come up here now, so we're just going to do a point here where there's a bridge, you can see there, leading to a big archway here. I just want to take you through the archway. It's pretty impressive through here. Lots of tours going on. It's actually a lot busier a couple of hours ago. It's in the siesta time now, so it's quieting down a bit. It's absolutely vibrant a couple of hours ago. Yeah, come through here now. If you raise your eyes to the site of the Burgos Cathedral there in front of you. sit, have a beer and take it all in. Cheers, bye. Good morning from Burgos. I'm taking a rest day today. It's the 28th of September, so the first thing to say is happy birthday, Luke. Can't wait to catch up with you in a few weeks and we'll have a pint together then, no doubt. So the other day I got up early and hoped to get some good views of the sunrise from the mountains, but missed out because of the trees. This morning I've come to the castle above Burgos and I'm just going to spin round so you can see the sun rising in the east over here. There's brilliant views all around, but then behind me you can see the cathedral, and then beyond is the sun just coming over the hills there. It's absolutely stunning, it's amazing, it's really silent up here. Take care, catch you soon. Morning, day 13. I'm back on the Camino. It feels good to be walking again, to be honest. It's about 10:30 in the morning and I've done nearly 17.5 kilometers. Good early start. Just as well I did get early start. It's really hot. It must be 25 degrees plus now already. So I had a rest day yesterday in Burgos and it was a lovely day there. I went to the castle first thing, got those pictures of the sunrise, and then went to the cathedral. Good to hear that I got a 50% discount because I'm on the way to Santiago, so that was good. And then spent 3-4 hours looking around the cathedral, which was fantastic. Even if you don't like, if you're not into religion and things, it's always worth a look around a cathedral. There's so much there with the architecture, the history, the sculpture, the stonemasonry, the carving. It was amazing to see. It was I can't put into words how much there was to see there. So I suggest that if you're ever in the area, pop in and see for yourself. That's probably the best thing. So this morning, as I say, I'm 17 kilometers in and I've just got to the point where this is the start of the Meseta. So the Meseta section is quite renowned for the Camino when it comes with a sort of mental health warning. Basically it's the high plains and there's not much up here. There is just it's agricultural land, so there's crops, it's featureless, it's dull, it's boring, and it lasts for about 6 or 7 days, so it's mind numbing basically. You just got you and your thoughts for all that time. So if I just have a little spin round, you can probably start to see it's just field crops that have been harvested, so it's empty fields basically for great big massive distances there. So yeah, I've got the Meseta to look forward to in the coming days, but hopefully I can keep myself sane. I've got the Smiths to listen to, so it should be all good. All right, take care, bye. Good morning, it's very early on day 14 and it's interesting, you can see the sun starting to rise behind me. If I spin round and walk backwards for a bit, got the angle right, see the moon there the other way. So I've been walking in moonlight for about an hour now and it's just become light enough to film. So I just wanted to say, when I stopped at Burgos, it meant that the people, you get into this bit of a sequence of walking with people and you will see the same faces each day. And when I stopped at Burgos, obviously those people I had been walking with moved on and I've got like a new cohort of people walking along at the same distance and speed and things now. So it's sad to see one lot go, but it's really freshened things up. It's quite refreshing to meet new people and start hearing new stories and things. So although it's sad to see one lot go, it's really good that we've got a new lot of people. One in particular who I caught up with yesterday, hadn't seen her since about day 3 when we walked a section together, and it was great to catch up with her yesterday, see how it's going. It was interesting actually. She was walking with her friend, and it shows the pressure of walking the Camino, because her and her friend had fallen out, and her friend had actually flown back to Australia. So it was certainly interesting catching up on all that. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go. I'll catch you later. Bye. And we've arrived at a town called Fromista. It's not the most pretty of towns, if I'm totally honest about it, but it was a long trek to get here. We've done 27.75 kilometers today, and we're really pushing the pace actually. This morning I was walking with Frankie, an Irish guy, and we were pushing at about 9 minutes 50 seconds per kilometre, so we're pushing on, certainly with the size of our packs and things. So just to bring you up to date with a couple of things over the last couple of days. Third day in the Meseta, and it's not that bad, to be honest. Keeping busy with the walking, and keeping busy with chatting with people. I had a lovely chat yesterday with Sarah for about 10 kilometres from Canada, and then, as I say, with Frankie today. And just typical Irish, never a quiet moment with him, to be honest, and he seems to know everybody. The other thing to bring you up to date with, we're having heat warnings over here at present, so basically we've got to get all our walking done by 12 o'clock ideally, and certainly not be walking after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's absolutely burning hot from 2 o'clock onwards, and there's warnings with regards the strength of the sun at that point. So we are getting up early, hence you've seen the moonlight shots. We're getting up quite early to walk each day and things. So that's sort of adapted. We're having to adapt to that a little bit. As I say, I'm meeting new people, and wanted to sort of update you on how my thoughts have changed with regards to the booking of the accommodation. So in the first few days of the Camino, I was booking 24 hours in advance, making sure you had somewhere to sleep, because it caused you anxiety to think you might not have a bed and things. But I've certainly become more confident with regards to that now, and I'm not really booking now. I'm just walking and looking to find somewhere to sleep when I get there, and that's proving interesting in that it means that you can be a little bit more selective when you get somewhere and make sure you do like it before you book it and things. So yesterday we ended up with a really beautiful albergue, really modern one, a new one, and just had a look through the gate. It looked great, and it was the best one we've been to without a doubt. Really modern. It had communal areas to sit, things like that. It wasn't overcrowded with the beds and things like that, and really new facilities, and it was definitely the best one we've been to. And then an interesting thing happened today. Last night at the albergue, we were chatting to Ron, an American guy who he's in his 80s, nearly 81, and he's struggling a little bit with the Camino, but he's plodding along and he's doing great. But he's having to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to get the miles in each day, and to try and miss the sun, the heat of the sun and things. So it's tough for him, certainly. Anyway, he set off at 4 o'clock this morning. Me and Frankie set off considerable time afterwards, and we got to him after about 15 kilometers. We caught up to him, and he was doing okay and things. And what he said to us was basically said he'd booked somewhere tonight. It's like in a little hotel type block thing, and it's got 3 beds, and he said he would give us the other 2 beds for me and Frank tonight. So basically we've got our accommodation tonight, paid for by Ron from America. It's lovely. It's a different level up from what we've been used to previously, and the good thing is it's actually got a bath, so I suspect we'll be taking advantage of that and taking the opportunity to have a bath and things. So yeah, it's a really nice, pleasant surprise. But it's that thing, if I'd booked ahead, I wouldn't have been able to say accept this and say yeah, thanks very much. So So yeah, getting more confident with the booking of rooms and things, and leaving it till there's a saying that the Camino will provide, and it seems to be providing as we go along at the moment, so long may that last. All right, hope that makes sense. Take care. Bye. Day 16. The sun's just come up. We've already got 10 kilometers in the bag as such. But to be fair, it has been pretty dull, the walking today. If you look over my shoulder and my head there, you can see a path by a main road. We've been on that path by that main road for 10 kilometers now. And we've only got 20 kilometers to do today, so we're doing fine. Sometimes the distance we do in a day is dictated by where we can get accommodation. So the last time we can get accommodation is at 20 kilometers today, unless we go another 17 kilometers, but pushing near 40 kilometers on a day when it's going to be so hot and things would just be silly. So we're just doing 20 today. That's the plan. So to pass the time of day today, I've created a new feature called If Morrissey Was Frick Hodbeck. And this is what How Soon Is Now might sound like if Morrissey was Frick Hodbeck. As lad and tear of a shyness that's criminally vulgar, as lad and air and out though shut the gob, how can they say I go about things strong way, as human and I need to be loved just like everybody else does, aye, yeah. There's a club if they'd like to gan, though could meet somebody who really loves there. So they gan and they stand on the Tod, and the leaves on the Tod, and you gan yam and you cry and you want to dee. Well, when thou says now, when exactly does the mean? See, has already waited too long, and all my hope has gone. Well, it passes the time of day, doesn't it? Have a good one. Bye. So at the end of day 16, we're in a little town called Carry On. And first thing to let you know, or let Lottie know, is that I'm using the tripod. It's the first time I've used it. She'll be dead impressed with my IT skills. So we'll see how it goes. Hope it doesn't fall over. Next thing to say is I've been totting up the mileage as we've been going along, and I think we're at about 400 kilometers now. So we're about at the halfway point. I don't think it's an official halfway point of the walk, but from my calculations, this is about it. So 16 days down, and we've got to the halfway point. So I thought it'd be good to show you at this point. You know, I got the pilgrim's passport at the start, way back in St. John, and everywhere I've been going, I've been getting stamps and things, and we sort of just wanted to show you. So there's all the stamps there, of all different places I've stayed, some churches I've popped in and things like that. But virtually anywhere along the route that you pop into, you can get a stamp. So I've done one side now, and I'm starting on the second side for the second half of the Camino. So that is your proof when you get to Santiago that you've done the distance, and you can get the official certificate and things like that when you get there. So it's important we keep that up to date. It's important we don't lose it. But other than, you know, it's all good, and it's all part of the Camino and part of the fun of it all, to be honest. All right, take care, everybody. Bye. Hello, day 17. Slightly cooler today. It's only about 26 degrees and it's a bit breezy, so it has been better walking weather. We've covered 26.4 kilometers today. Much of that route was along an old Roman road. Obviously, you know, from the Roman roads in Cumbria, they are basically long straight roads, so it was a straight track for something like 20 kilometers of what we've covered today. But yeah, it's easy enough going, fairly flat all the way. It's quite breezy now. We're at a place called Terradillus, which sounds like some sort of dinosaur or something like that. Nice albergue that we're in here tonight. So last night we stayed at Carry-On, which we took the advantage, or the opportunity rather, to stay at an albergue run by the nuns there. So that's a good experience. Right from the start, it was really nice actually. The nuns were very welcoming and, you know, genuinely pleased to see you, which we probably can't always say that about everybody we've been with the albergues and things, but genuinely pleased to see us. I took the opportunity to go just to sit in one of the evening prayer things, basically because I knew the nuns were going to be singing, and I mean, there's just 3 of them went there to do the singing, but it was amazing hearing the 3 nuns singing in the massive church and things. It was really, the sound was brilliant, so it was worth doing it just for that as much as anything. The other thing I've got to report back in the last 24 hours was, you know, I got that room for nothing the other night, and it's in a slightly posher place. Well, lo and behold, it's come back to bite me, literally. Bloody bed bugs. I mean, bed bugs are a known hazard of the Camino, but I got absolutely eaten alive in that place, and I've got bites. In fact, you can see there's one on my face there as well, some on my cheek there as well, but I've got bites all over my legs particularly. And when they bite, they draw blood obviously, but they cause these blister things, and then you get these big wounds. They're absolutely nightmare. So got some gel stuff from the pharmacy to try and get on top of them, but that has been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. Yeah, so yeah, we're plodding on, little things sent to test us, but all good otherwise. Take care, bye. Day 18, I just thought I'd take the opportunity to do some filming while we've got some shelter from trees here and things, so a bit of shelter from the sun and things, a bit of shade. So day 18, we're already nearly 19 kilometers in. It's only about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, so it's all going well. First thing to say about yesterday was, I noticed on the film, when I look back at it, I was looking a bit glum and a bit not myself when I look back at it. I was in a lot of pain yesterday. I was in a lot of pain because my heels were tender again, and then I'd like weeping wounds all over my legs from the bed bugs and things, so I was probably feeling a bit sorry for myself yesterday. But really good meal last night at the albergue, really good sleep at the albergue, up bright and early, heels are feeling really good, wounds are getting a lot better, so yeah, feels loads better today. Before I came, there's a quote about that I read about the Camino rather, and it basically said pain is inevitable, but suffering is an option or a choice. And you try to bear that in mind, that you just try and keep cracking on despite how much pain you're in. I literally have been in pain to a degree every step of the way from about 5 kilometers, and that's just the way it is. You look at other people as well, and you can see it in their faces. You can see it. You can see people changing the way they walk to try and take pressure off sore limbs or sore blisters or whatever. But it is par for the course as such, and you really have got to just crack on and keep going. So that's the way it is. One thing I have kept to myself, it's our little secret, we won't tell anybody. I've not told anybody I'm a physiotherapist. The last thing I want to hear when I'm in so much pain is people telling me all about their aches and pains and strains. So let's keep that our little secret, shall we? Okay, so all good today. We just passed a town called Sangum, and we've got, I don't know, maybe another 5 or 6 kilometers to our stopping point today. So we're doing well, but it's all good. Take care, bye. Good afternoon. A good 28 kilometers completed today, and that has brought us to a town called Mansilla de la Mulas. I've looked a little bit into the history. There's a bit of information around the town, and it's sort of famous for this. It's one of these walled towns, a bit similar to sort of York, Durham, but not to that extent. So you can see part of the remains of that wall over my shoulder here. We'll see a bit more of it in a second and things. So yeah, it's been a good day today. We're getting towards the end of the Meseta section, and it's not been that bad, to be honest. You know, there's all these warnings about how it affects your mental health and things. It's been all right. It is a bit boring, a bit dull, but you just crack on, really. Yes, it is by roads, but the roads are not busy, so it doesn't really affect things that much. So it's not been that bad, and we've got the town of Lyon now in sight. We'll be making 20 kilometers or so to Lyon tomorrow, and that's the next big city, and I'll probably get a rest day there. Here, just look over my shoulder here. There's a door here that reminds me a bit of my dad, because I think he's just about going to get round to fixing it soon, but it'll be all right for the moment. Okay, yeah, so we've got Lyon to look forward to tomorrow, and that'll see the end of the Meseta. Oh, there's a car coming, watch out. End of the Meseta, and changing the landscape. Will become a lot more scenic, probably more hills and things, to be fair. The good thing about the sections we've done so far in the Meseta is, although they are a bit dull and a bit boring, they are flat, and you can really hammer out the mileage and things. So this morning we were up early again, and we'd done something like, I did over 17 kilometers in the first 3 hours, and with the weight of our backpacks and things, that's pretty good going. So I've come down some steps now, you probably noticed, and now I'm sort of I'm outside the town as such, the old city walls, and you can see quite significant walls. That must be about 6-7 meters high up there. Yeah. So yeah, we've got Lyon to look forward to tomorrow. So I'm gonna have a rest day. I've heard there's a museum there, and I really want to have a look around that. It's a section or a floor of the museum assigned to the Camino itself. So I'm going to take some time out and look at that. When I was planning this trip, I didn't want to leave it a really tight schedule, because potential injuries, potential sickness, potential weather delays, all that, but none of that's happened. So I've been pushing on, and I've made good mileage and things like that. So I'm like probably about 4 days ahead of schedule. So it means over the next couple of weeks or so, I've sort of got a bit of time to do a bit more exploring, a bit more touristy stuff. So it's really nice that I've sort of got that in the bank as such. So yeah, I'm starting to think how I can use that time productively now, and it might mean me walking a little bit extra, but why wouldn't you? The weather's beautiful, and there's plenty to see and to do. So that's sort of what I'm thinking. So you can see the walls of the city, the old city behind us there. And if I can spin around this way, going into the distance that way as well. So, you know, there's quite a significant part of the old town walls still here, still to be seen, yeah. So all good, yeah. All right, take care, bye. Good morning, day 20. We've already done our 20 kilometers walking. We're already booked into the albergue. It's only just done midday, so the rest of the day to explore a very busy and vibrant Lyon on a Friday afternoon. I just come around this corner. It's absolutely amazing, the sight, the view greeted with here. If I lift my eyes, there is the tower in front of the cathedral. Stretches way back in the distance. It's a really big building by the looks of it. There's a lovely little square here in front of it. Artwork of Lyon. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic city to explore this, so I'm going to stop filming and start exploring. I'll report back soon. Bye. Good morning, it is 6:40 on Sunday morning, and I just want to do a quick review on Leon following my rest day. It's actually quite a lot of people still milling about now at 6:40 in the morning. They're honestly just on the way home. It's been a mad festival weekend here. So I arrived here early Friday, so I've had Friday afternoon and all of Saturday here. There's been so much going on. It's such a busy town. There's several squares with stages set up, and there's different things going on in each of those different squares. So in this one I'm particularly in at the moment, we've had like traditional dancing and almost like folk music, I think you'd call it, on this stage. On one of the other ones, as you saw yesterday, was the maddest band competition I've ever seen in my life. It was like there was about 12 bands there. They'd all just be practicing in the side streets, and then they'd walk in from different directions one at a time. And then they're all just sort of milling about, and then one would just strike up and play, and then another one would, and then another one would, and it went on until the whole square was really full of bands just playing when they got the opportunity and things. It was the craziest thing you've ever seen, and they seem to be trying to play loud and quick, I would say, rather than tuneful. It was crazy. And then there's a massive market area here. There's street food here. There was a antiques and bric-a-brac type place. There's just so much going on yesterday. Some crafty type places, and just thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And it's 30 odd degrees again, so everybody is sitting out and drinking alcohol and just enjoying it. So yeah, it's been a stroke, a masterpiece that I ended up here on the festival weekend. I'd like to say it was planned, but it was total fluke as usual with me, but it all worked out well. So I'm back on the road today, leaving this behind. But yeah, if you fancy Leon in the festival weekend, it's probably a good bet. The other thing to say, I went to found time to go to the museum and the cathedral. Cathedral's excellent again. Museum was the museum, as all museums tend to be. The cathedral was excellent. Architecture is brilliant. The stained glass windows are absolutely amazing. There's so many of them and so big. But overall, I have to say Burgos Cathedral was slightly better than Leon's, but that's just my opinion. All right, back on the road again. Day 21. So from Leon this morning, I come outside Leon, and about 7 kilometres outside there's an option of continue along the main road or take the alternative scenic route. So it's a beautiful day, the sun's out, the blue sky, birds are singing. It's quiet because it's Sunday as well, so I took the scenic route. The plan was to stop at 22 kilometres, but I got to that first town at 22 kilometres at only just gone 11 o'clock, and it felt a bit early, so I've kept going. I've come another 10 kilometres, so I'm at 32 kilometres now, and I'm at a little town called Villa Fante. There's one albergue here. I really hope there's a room in it, unless I've got to keep going, so I'll find out that shortly. The other thing to say is, been walking with a chap from Ireland called Frankie for the last 6-7 days. He moved on obviously when I had the rest day, so today's been nice. I've had some new faces to chat to, Barbara from Galway and Jennifer, who I keep bumping into, from California. So it's nice to talk to different people basically, but all good. I'm just going to spin round and show you this behind me. So there's monuments all the way along the route and stuff. All right, here's hoping this albergue has got a room. Bye. Day 22. It's still early on the Monday morning. First thing to settle up. Yes, I did get a bed at the albergue yesterday. There's plenty of space, and I got a really good night's sleep, so that's all good. Next thing to tell you about this morning. You know how sometimes smells can be very powerful in reminding you of places or times or whatever. Well, I walked past the factory this morning and the smell of the Penrith pong, the Alba factory, was there. It was like I was back home in Penrith. Oh, it was really powerful. It was pinging. Anyway, I've really put the camera on this morning. I'm walking over this lovely floodlit bridge. I'd like to see there's a river each side, but I don't know what we're going over. I can't really see, to be totally honest, but yeah, it's lovely. So well ahead of schedule from yesterday's 32. So I'm just going to plod away today. I've got hopefully to do about 25 today. But as I say, I'm just walking over this lovely bridge. Halfway over it now. Little spin round. Remember yesterday I mentioned I'd gone on the scenic route. Well, this bridge is the point that I've rejoined the main route again. So starting to see a few more pilgrims and things on the route and things now, as well as a few locals getting up for work and things. All right, catch you tomorrow. Bye. Day 23. I'm in a little town called Ravenel, a very small little place, but I just wanted to show you, you can camp en route, and I've just come into this little, I suppose you call it a garden as such, but if you look over my shoulder there, there's little tents set up for people who want to camp and things. And it's funny, probably about 5 kilometers back, just walking en route, there was literally somebody who'd just lay down, in a sleeping bag and put a blanket on top of them, and they would just lay on the side of the path there. So the camping does go on en route, and there is options available as you move along the route and things, the Camino. If I walk further through the garden, it's all set up quite nice. There's a little covered area there for seating and eating and things. And then if I spin round again, of little sort of almost beds set up. One looks as though it's that green thing there. It looks almost like it's in a bath as such, but there's little mattresses in there so you can just sleep. Let me come into the town itself. So Ravenel, this is as far as I'm going today. I'll come to that in a second. Last night I stayed, I walked through Astorga into the next town along and thought I'll go past the busy town to the quieter place afterwards, and it worked out really well. I had a 16-bed albergue to myself. It was like I had a private room. It was brilliant, and it was really comfortable bed, obviously really quiet, just me in there, so I got a really good night's sleep, so I feel great today. If you remember, we did the Meseta, and that's sort of the high plains, and you'd sort of think naturally that you'd sort of drop down from the high plains, but we've been gradually climbing since then, and we've climbed again today. It's just a general climb all day today. It's only 15 kilometers I've done today, but there's hills in front of us, and we've got to climb them tomorrow. Looking at the guidebook, I'll be at the highest point on the Camino tomorrow, so all downhill from there, eh? Well, I've looked at the guidebook actually, and it's more like a roller coaster, so there's lots of more ups and downs to come following that. Yeah, and Ravenel, where I'm at today, I'm only walking 15 kilometers today. I could go further, but I've been recommended to stay at an albergue specifically in this town. It's one that's I believe it's run by some organisation based in London, and it's sort of very British in its in the way it does things. So for instance, when it opens this afternoon, I believe we're greeted with a cup of tea, so can't wait for that, to be honest. I've not had a good cup of tea in ages. So yeah, all's going well, all set for today. And as you can see, it's a steep little incline towards the top of the town here, but it's really beautiful, really quiet, a little quaint town. It's quite like a Lake District town, if I'm honest. It's very nice. All right, take care. Day 24, and it's a special day on the Camino, one of the highlights of the trip that I've been really looking forward to, but I'll come to that in a second. Firstly, a quick review from yesterday. So I was at Rabanal, a little town that we climbed up to, and I stayed at the Galselmo albergue, the British ran one. It's fantastic, to be honest. In the afternoon, 5 o'clock, we all went out into the garden at afternoon tea and homemade cakes and things. Very British, to be honest. It was lovely. It was a donation albergue, so you gave a donation, and obviously I just based it on the prices that I'd been paying for the other albergues and things, but it's fantastic. The only negative I would say is it must have been close to a hornet's nest, and these ginormous hornets kept coming in to the sleeping area at night, and the way you could hear them buzzing around, they're like blooming Hercules jets buzzing around the room. In the end, I gave up and I went into the communal seating area and made a bed out of the cushions from the chairs and things, and slept down there. So I got a decent nice sleep in the end. Anyway, we've been climbing this morning from Rabanal, 7 kilometers, fairly strenuous climb, and we reached a point now where we're virtually at the highest point of the Camino. I believe it's just over 1,500 meters, and to put that into context, that's about 150 meters higher than Ben Nevis is, so it gives you some context as to how high we are. We're at a place called Cruz de Ferro, which basically means iron cross, and if I spin round, hopefully you can see an iron cross on the top. There we go, iron cross on the top of a wooden pole. Now, to me, the iron cross and the wooden pole are not really significant. What is significant is the great big pile of stones that have been built up over the years underneath it. There's a massive pile, a massive mound of stones. Now, each person who comes on the Camino is encouraged to bring a rock with them, and that represents their stresses, their worries, their traumas, physical, psychological, their grief, or whatever, really, whatever is their burden. So that is their burden, and they bring it along and they put the burden at the bottom of the cross here. So you can see there's a massive pile there, and as you go up that mound, you can see lots of things written on those rocks and things. So I've been here nearly a couple of hours already, actually, just watching, and it's really emotional moment for a lot of people to come and actually put their rock here, and you see many tears shed while they're doing that. It's a special moment for a lot of people. So I've got a rock that I brought from home that I'll put in later. I'll put a separate video for that. But yeah, as I say, it's not about the cross at the top. To me, it's about that pile of stones there, because that is if you think about what that represents, the trauma of people, the grief of people, that's massive, and that's basically one big pile of shit for people that they're dealing with or have been dealing with, and hopefully it's something that helps them in the future once they've relieved themselves of that burden. I did watch a couple of videos before coming here, obviously, of people doing this, and some people found it really hard to put the rock there and leave it and let go. It was like their traumas and their stresses had become part of their identity and who they were. So yeah, okay, that's where we are at the moment then. Take care. Day 24, I'm just at Cruz de Ferro. I'm about to put my stone on the pile. The stone I've got came from Roughtongill. Took the opportunity in August to pop up Roughtongill, and while I was there, looked for a stone specifically to bring today. On that day in August, I could see this sparkling beyond anything else up Roughtongill, so I thought it was ideal. I really hope you can see it on the film, just sparkling in the sunshine. I'm going to put it on the pile, and I'm going to put it south facing, so if anybody does look at it, it will sparkle back at them. And the other thing to say is there's also going to be a little bit of codbeck on the Camino. Hi everybody, another long day on the Camino, day 25. I've got no need to be walking the distances I'm walking at the moment because I'm so far ahead of schedule, but the weather is absolutely gorgeous and I'm wanting to make the most of it before this weekend because the forecast is for rain from Saturday onwards. So I'm just trying to get a few more miles under my belt so I don't have to get wet and things. So we've come to a town called Villafranca del Bierzo, and I took a bit of a gamble really, didn't get any accommodation again, and it's sort of one of those last points before there's a long gap where there's going to be no accommodation. But I arrived and there's a little municipal albergue. I've got a bed for only €8, about £7.50 for the night, and it'll do the job fine, so perfect. As I say, we came down off the hills yesterday where the cross was, and then we've gone through some beautiful countryside today, and we just started to climb a little bit. And let me just show you a couple of things. So there is the town just below us looking over the roofs, and if you look beyond that, there's some massive hills that way, and that way too. So there's big hills to potentially conquer tomorrow. There is an option where I can go follow the road and take the flat option, but you know me, that's not going to happen, is it? If there's a route over those hills, likelihood is I'm going to go for that route. Two things that might stop me: one, the weather. If the weather comes in early, the bad weather comes in early, then I might not go up those hills. And the other thing is it's a national holiday in Spain today for Christopher Columbus or something like that. So there's very little open shop-wise. Yeah, the restaurants are open and things, but I need some supplies if I'm going on that hills, over those hills, to make sure I've got enough food, that I'm not going to be sort of left without any energy or drinks or anything. So I've scraped a few things together today, so hopefully I'll have enough in my bag tomorrow. Worst comes to worst, I've got a bit of a Kendal mint cake in there. That'll keep us going, surely to God. Yeah, carry it around often, you know. Maybe I should actually eat the stuff. We'll see what happens. Anyway, it's been a fantastic day, great mileage, and I've really enjoyed it. Have a look at that view again. Stunning. Take care. Day 26, and just to prove that it does rain in Spain, it's pouring down at the moment. It's funny though, although it's pouring down, it seems to almost dry as quick as it comes, so I don't feel that actually wet, so not too bad. So I mentioned yesterday about taking the gamble of coming on the mountain route, and I'm literally the only person on the mountain route today. And I was very apprehensive about it first thing this morning because nobody else was going. It was just starting to rain as we set off. Everybody else had set off early because they wanted to get somewhere before it got too wet. But you know what I'm like, I wanted a bit of an adventure, so that's why I've come on. And I'm so glad I did. It's been absolutely amazing so far. Some of the best scenery I've seen so far on the Camino. What I would say is there's a very fine line between adventure and disaster, and I'm sort of teetering on that line often. I could very easily get lost here. There's hardly any signs at all. You'll walk a couple of kilometres and then there'll be a little bit of a sign on something if you catch it. They're very hard to spot on things anyway. I keep asking the locals when I come across a local. It's in the little quaint places I've been through. It's a bit like Potskill and Netherrow and all those little tiny places, just a few houses and things. I've been up over the first mountain, climbed really hard for about 7 kilometers to get over that one, and then we dropped right down at the bottom again. That's where I am now, just walking right in the bottom of the valley. Lots of a bit of tree cover, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to get the filming done. But then I've got another next mountain to climb. I can literally see it in front of us. It looks so steep, I can't tell you how steep it looks. So it's going to be another hard climb, but I'm going to do the second mountain, and then I think I'm going to take the sensible option and dip off to the side. I think I can dip off after that point, down past the little lake and back to the main route, and that'll give me a chance to get some accommodation, because it's a bit of a bottleneck for accommodation further up this path, further up the Camino up here. So I think I'll be sensible, but a bit more adventuring to do first. Happy days, bye. Good morning. It's the morning after my mountain adventure yesterday, and as you can see, I'm back on the road route of the Camino. Let me just spin round. I'm not going back up the mountains today. Look at that. That's the mountains are shrouded in that mist. The mountains are there, but you can't even see them. So yesterday, when I did my film, day 26 film, I did mention that there was a fine margin between adventure and disaster, and I have to say I probably lunged towards the disaster part following that film. So what happened was, when I spoke to you, I'd been up the first mountain, I'd come down into the bottom, and I was about to climb the second mountain. It was, as I suggested, really steep up there, but I got to the top and the route was really difficult to follow, but I was still on the route, and I got to the top, and then the weather started coming in really quickly. So this really heavy rain, and the mist was coming in as well. So I knew if I followed the route, it was going to go over the third mountain, but I could dip off that route. But I could see from the top, let this car go past, I could see from the top of that second mountain that there was a route sort of winding down into the bottom, like just a track. So I thought, right, if I take that, that'll get me into the bottom quicker, and then I can get off this mountain safely. Anyway, that was my first mistake, I would suggest. So I left the route and I followed this winding track down into the bottom of the valley. Now eventually this winding track came to a dead end. It just came to a stop 3/4 of the way down the mountain, and I knew which direction I needed to go, but it was really steep, it was really overgrown, and it was far too dangerous to continue on. So I had a couple of options. One was to climb back up the mountain to the route, and that would be massive physical effort for me, and the other was to try and find a way across the bottom of this valley, which was vast and very heavily overgrown. So I started looking for any little routes and things like that, and I started following these little routes, and every little route I'd follow, it'd go so far and then it would sort of just come to nothing, and then I'd find something else, I'd follow it, and it would go to nothing. And before I knew it, I was in the middle of this vast valley bottom, very overgrown with stuff. Hard to get anywhere, to be totally honest. And I'm looking around thinking, I'm in a bit of trouble here. So I thought, right, if I climb up a little bit, there's a clearing there, I'll climb to that clearing, I'll see if I can see anything and see the direction to head. So I climbed up to this little rocky clearing, looked around, looked everywhere. God, there's a lot of trees, isn't there? That's basically all I could see. Couldn't see any sign of human life at all. So I think, oh God, what am I going to do? So I messaged Kath and I said, look, Kath, she's got access to my phone, says take a screenshot rather of where I am location wise, just in case I need to let you know where I need to be rescued from, basically. So Kath did that, and then I continued on, and I did find a route eventually to the bottom of this. It wasn't even the main valley, it was to the bottom of the side valley, but there's a little stream in the bottom. I thought, right, probably the best option for me now is to try and follow this stream down out of the valley. So I followed this stream. It was really densely, I became a bit of Rambo, to be totally honest. I might as well have ripped my sleeves off and tied a thing around my forehead. So I'm going down this stream, I'm sort of fighting my way down it, crossing side to side as I needed to, and after about 45 minutes of going down this stream, through bogs, through all sorts, I was up to my knees in mud and everything. After all that, I got down to the main river, and I'm thinking, I remember from the map, the main river is parallel to one of the roads, so I'm looking parallel where the road should be, and it's probably there, but how the hell am I going to get from this river up to that road? It's like it's really steep. It's like a ravine I'm in. So I ended up following the river down a little bit, having to cross the river several times, sort of knee depth in water, trying to get across. And eventually there was I'm just gonna let this car go past. Eventually I saw a possible route to get out the bottom of this ravine, but it meant crossing, you know, them brambly type bushes. There was a whole, like 100 meters of just covered with these brambly type things. So I basically had to walk on top of these brambly things, step by step, hoping that I didn't fall, because if I fell, I was going to be in the bottom of it all. And eventually got back up on the road. I thought, oh yes, at last. So I followed the road back to the main route, and it all ended up fine in the end. I did, in the albergue, I met another woman who had done the mountain route, and she thought she was the only one on the mountains as well, like I thought I was. And she had stuck to the main route and had continued round and had come off at the same point as me, eventually, via that main road. But she had covered 20 kilometers to do that. Me, with my shortcut down into that bottom of that valley, I'd covered 28 kilometers. So my shortcut through that forest and that massive thorns and bogs and everything had cost me another 8 kilometers and it took me several hours longer. Anyway, I'm still glad I went up the mountain yesterday. I am not pleased that I went off route. That was a really stupid thing to do, and I was a bit of an idiot for doing that. You don't need to tell me. Oh, there's 3 cars coming, let them go past. But I try to take a positive out of everything, and the positive I'm taking out of this is I can truly say this is my Camino now, because every other bit of the Camino I've done has been covered by millions of people before and afterwards. I can categorically say that no person on the Camino before or after will have taken the same route as me and will have had to do that part of the journey. So it is truly my Camino now. Boom. Day 27, and after the rigors, physical effort of the last 3 or 4 days, I'm having an easy day. I'm just strolling at a very leisurely pace. I've had a couple of coffees already today, and there's a bit of a window in the weather where the sunshine is shining, and we're just sort of taking it all in today. As you can see, I'm on a really beautiful woodland type path. It's beautiful scenery. We've sort of come into a new area now where there's higher rain levels. It's much greener and much more similar to home, so it's all going fine. I'm really going to look for a I've only done about 10k. I'm going to look for an albergue soon. I need to get all my clothes dry from, I got everything washed after yesterday's efforts, but didn't get a chance to dry it because of the rain and things, so I need to get all my clothes dry and things today and just have a day of catching up with things. I suppose the big thing now, I'm in sight of Sarria, and Sarria's important to me because next Friday the 20th, Lottie, Luke and my niece Daisy are all going to be joining me to walk the last 100k with us. So I'm only a couple of days off that, so I'm going to extend. There's a couple of alternative routes I can do to go to one of the monasteries and things, but basically the next big thing is Sarria and meeting the family there, so really looking forward to that. Can't tell you how much. It'd be great to see everybody, but yeah, happy days till then. All right, take care. Stunning scenery. I spin round. This is from my albergue accommodation, sort of rooftop patio bar. That's what I'm looking at. You can hear that in the background. Bit of Tears for Fears and the music there. Just about as good as it gets, isn't it? Take care. Good afternoon on day 28. We've moved into a new region called Galicia, I believe, and it's known for being a bit of a greener area, a bit like the Lake District, but unfortunately just like the Lake District, if I look over my shoulder here, we've got the Lake District sort of weather as well. It's absolutely tipping it down. And get back under shelter. So we covered 28 kilometers today. I got 18 done before the rain started and another 8 done after it. I was really pushing the speed at that point. I did my fastest kilometer, 9 minutes 9 seconds. The other thing that happened today was I had my first fall. It was one of those really comedy falls. I didn't hurt myself, other than my pride a bit. So I'd handed my camera to somebody and there's this massive statue thing, and I was going to get my photo took with it, and I'd just come up 5 kilometers of really steep climbing, so my legs are a bit tired, and as I say, it's on a big plinth, this statue, and I put my step up onto my foot to step onto the plinth, and I caught my foot and I lunged forwards, and because of the weight of my rucksack it sort of threw me over and I just flipped right over onto my back, a bit like a judo type fall. Luckily the guy didn't take a photo. There's a few people watching actually who checking if I was alright, but it's just a bit funny to be honest. So yeah, I was fine with that. I just want to mention as well, yesterday I stayed at a place called La Faba yesterday. It was the usual stopping point is at the top of the hill, also Brero, and everybody goes up there, but I stopped 5 kilometers short of that because it's just a beautiful little village and stunning views. We climbed up to it, and then there's like a little rooftop terrace, and it was stunning. The views were brilliant. I'll put a couple of pictures that I took, or a little video from yesterday on the rooftop terrace because it was so nice, and we got the last of the sunshine yesterday, so I was really able to enjoy that sunshine yesterday and make the most of it really. So I didn't have a rest day, I had a recovery day. I only did 11 kilometers, and as I said, I just made the most of it, didn't rush, had a couple of coffees over that 11 kilometers, just really took it easy and had a really enjoyable day. Opposite today because I was pushing to try and miss this rain, but I'm all set for the week ahead now, so everything's all good for Sarria shortly. Okay, bye. Day 29. So last night from Compostela, I've taken the alternative route and I've come specifically to come to Samos. Samos is known because of the monastery that is here, that's been here since the 6th century, and that's where I'm looking to stay tonight, in the monastery. Hope it's not haunted, I really do. Anyway, if I just walk down here a little bit further, I'll be able to show you the monastery. It's absolutely beautiful. We've got a beautiful walk. It's only 10k we've walked, but it's a beautiful walk. And now that I'm here, it was well worth that little bit of a alternative route. Slightly longer route, but I've got time, so it doesn't really matter. So let me just turn and give you a view of the monastery behind me. It's absolutely amazing. I've just been on a tour of it, as I said. Can you see that in the background there? It's absolutely stunning building. You can't, again, believe the vastness of it. And I think it's still a working monastery. And I didn't actually see any of the monks and things there, I must admit, but no doubt they'll be doing what monks do, whatever that is. Okay, but amazing. Looking forward to this. I'll try, if I can, give you some idea of the accommodation. I think it'd be quite meagre because it's a monastery and I wouldn't expect anything else. I just want to stay there. Can you see on the side of this bridge as well, the beautiful shells? The shells sort of this symbol of the Camino, and the shells on the side of the bridge there. All right, let's go and get booked in at this monastery. Take care. Hey everybody, just a quick film. I'm in the albergue itself. It is quite meagre and quite basic, but I'll just walk a few steps and give you a brief view of where I'm staying tonight.
It's a beautiful town, a beautiful place.
Day 30 of my Camino. I've survived the night in the monastery at Samos. I didn't see any ghosts, anything like that. In fact, I didn't even see any monks, to be honest. A bit disappointed. I would like to see the monks and the monastery and things like that, but never mind. It is what it is. It has been a very windy night. You can probably hear a bit of the wind in the background. What I would say is that made some very eerie sounds in that monastery. It was very spooky down there. I think we're probably looking at the size of the door and things. It's probably what was the old coach house. It was a 32-bed dorm. I think you've probably seen the video. And I'd say maybe 24 of the beds were full. So yeah, it was warm and cozy. There was hot water. Pretty basic. The guy just laughed when he asked if we had Wi-Fi. So there we are. So it's slightly strange today because from Samos I'm actually going backwards on the route towards Compostela again, where I was the night before. So that's my first port of call. See if I can get there, then I'll decide to go further from there. I'm expecting to get to Sarria tomorrow, and then I'll just sort of wait for a couple of days for the family to come and join us. It's a bit sad this morning, to be honest. I said the last goodbyes to some of my friends who have been walking with, and they're obviously continuing on, and with me now going the opposite direction, they'll get to Santiago before me. And as I say, I've been going a little bit slower the last few days, so gradually people have moved on. They've all got their own timetables and agendas to go back to, and that's fair enough. And that's basically the way the Camino works. You're all there for your own thing ultimately, but you make friends and lose friends and move on the way. So no doubt I'll make some more friends as the day goes on. I will be walking along today because everybody I see will be going that way and I'm going backwards basically. I suppose one thing I did want to mention, good chance to do it now I suppose, is the sort of safety on the Camino. It is one of the safest things you can do, I'd say. I've never seen any trouble, any issues, any problems. The biggest issues I've seen on the whole of the journey is people being a bit grumpy because others are getting up, being a bit noisy when they're getting up. But that's early mornings, isn't it? So 4 o'clock in the morning, you're trying to sleep and somebody's making a racket. You can sort of understand that. I understand the Spanish authorities come down hard on anything that disrupts the safety of the Camino as well, because they know how important it is to Spanish economy and things. I'm huffing and puffing a bit. This is a bit of a steep hill. Very steep, in fact. Okay, so yeah, safety is fine. You should feel safe and confident to come as a single lone traveller, whatever your age. I've seen 18-year-olds, and I've seen those in their 80s as well. Everybody's safe, everybody's well looked after. I did hear a story in the past of some locals, some kids. Basically, you follow yellow arrows on the route and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Good morning, good morning. Bien Camino. Yeah, so some locals had put extra yellow arrows diverting people off the trail. This is years ago, but the authorities came down very heavily on them, and even the sort of the other locals pointed out how important it was that this sort of thing doesn't happen. So yeah, if you are thinking about it, it's a very safe thing to do if you want to do it on your own. Couples do come, obviously, but you probably get the best Camino experience if you come as a lone traveller, because then you've got to mix and you've got to meet. Okay, I'm going to catch my breath now. I've got a Camino cold, which isn't helping things. Most people get sniffles at some point, just life in the albergues, and mine was probably brought on by that little mountain adventure. But hey ho, all's good. Camino. So I'm come past Compostela, and a bit further along the track I just thought I'd try and get a little bit more and see what I found. And I've just come to this little albergue just on the side of the track. Nobody here at all, so I'll just come in, see if I can register anything. It basically says just go in, find a bed, and I'll register at 5 o'clock. So here's a dormitory, and if I come through here, it's like a little fairy tale world of wooden bunk beds all over the place. So I think this will be my stopping point for tonight. Should be interesting. Let's go in my bed. Very rustic is what the word is. Day 31. And don't let the dry appearance fool you. Today's been a miserable day. Weather-wise, we've walked in low cloud and mizzle. It's a pity really. It was a very scenic walk I was doing this morning, but the low cloud meant there wasn't really much to see. Anyway, I've reached my destination for today, about 17 kilometers walked, and guess where I am? Bit of a clue. Yeah, Sarria. So this is the point where I'm meeting Luke, Lottie and Daisy over the next couple of days, and once we're all here, we're going to make our way towards Santiago, and it's about 5 good days walking from here to get to Santiago. So it's that final push for the finish, for the final destination. Just going to spin around here and pull that up, and there's the view down the old down the street into the old town, old part of Sarria. Quite nice down there. It's very steep. So last night sort of put a little video on, didn't I, sort of showing a little bit about where I stayed. So almost by chance going through on the Camino, just sort of picked up this albergue just off the route. Very remote. It was sort of almost self-service. Come in, find yourself a bed and we'll register you later. And it was very fairy tale-esque and something like out of Hansel and Gretel, something like that. But it was lovely, and it's one of the best ones that I've been for many reasons. Just it was quiet, it was warm, and the rustic appearance of it just made it really special. So it was a nice one to stay at. The people who ran it were vegetarian, so they did a vegetarian menu. So if that appeals to anybody, certainly, it's called El Becco, and you can certainly get the details for that. Anyway, also, I've gone to the other extreme tonight. I've gone to the municipal albergue in Sarria, and it's about as basic and grim as it gets, to be honest, but it's only €10, so can't complain too much. And then I've got myself set up with better albergues for tomorrow, and for when Luke, Lottie and Daisy arrive. It's a really nice one I've sorted out for the coming night, so it'll be spot on when they arrive. Okay, I'm going to go and get something to eat now, get sorted, but a couple of rest days in Sarria for me. And how glad am I that I am not walking in this today. It is absolutely tipping it down. It was last night and it is this morning. This is precisely why I kept a few days held back, in case there was days like this where you just really didn't want to walk. Anyway, I'm glad I got the miles into Sarria yesterday, and the farthest I'm walking today is from one albergue to the other. And I've got some chores to do, get all my clothes washed and dried and things ready for more walking on Saturday, but I am so glad I'm not out in that. All you can see, it is absolutely tipping it down. I feel sorry for those who are walking today, because they're going to be soaked after 10 minutes, and it's going to be a long day for them. But not for me. I've got another video that I made a little while back about how I packed, so it might help anybody if they decide to do the Camino in the future. Just some ideas on what I packed, and then it might give them an indication of what they need to pack. Anyway, I'm going to find somewhere dry and have another coffee. Take care. Morning, just got a bit of time to kill before the albergue opens, so I'm going to do a quick review of what's in my pack. So if anybody is thinking about doing the Camino in the future, it'll give them a little bit of guidance of what they might take. So very quickly, sleeping bag and flip-flops wrapped in there. Travel towel, that's been absolutely amazing, they work so well. And luxury item, a little blow-up pillow. I've only needed to use it a couple of times, but it's only 85 grams, so put that in there. All my clothes, other than what I'm wearing, are in that bag there. So 3 pairs of undies, 3 pairs of good walking socks with no seams, 3 t-shirts, 2 long sleeve tops, a pair of shorts and a pair of leggings. That's it. Wash bag, just the basics. I haven't got shampoo and conditioner, for instance, just got a bar of soap so I can do the hand washing of the clothes and the things. First aid bag, luckily I haven't needed to use much in the first aid bag. It's a body warmer I brought. I probably didn't need it, to be honest, but it's in there now, so carrying it along with us. Chargers and cables for my phone, my watch and my headlight. A little tub I picked up that I carry my food in, that I've got in the bag just to protect it. And that's all that's actually in the bag. This side pocket has got pegs and my water bottle. This side pocket has got the head torch and my selfie stick goes in there. I've got my coat and my boots attached to my bag. If I wear my boots, my trainers will actually fit in the bag. In this top pouch here, I've got my guidebook, a little pad, a pen, my passport and my glasses, and that's it. And of course, you need a good hat. That's it. Day 32 on the Camino, and first thing to say is we've got a bit of sunshine after 2 really horrible days of weather. I'm glad I took them as rest days, because it wouldn't be nice walking. So yeah, the sun is out again, and obviously the other big news is that I've been joined on the Camino by Luke, Lottie and Daisy. They're a bit camera shy, if I'm honest, but never mind. Okay, so we've specifically started filming at this point because if we just come along here a little bit, we are at, can you see this? So that's the way marker, 100.000 kilometers to Santiago. We're down to the last 100 kilometers, and Team Savage is ready for the final assault of the next 4.5 days to get to Santiago. All right, so we're just going to keep cracking on at the moment. We've already done 14 kilometers today, so it's all going well, and we've had a good cafe stop, so we're all refreshed and raring to go. All right, take care, catch you soon. Day 32, we're coming into the town of Porto Marin. Everybody's still there, Team Savage all behind us somewhere. We're just walking over this bridge. It's probably the most scariest thing I've done at all flipping Camino. It's so high, and I'm not good with heights or with water, and it's quite narrow, and the barrier's not very high. Oh, I just want to get the other side, to be honest. Anyway, we're all still here, still going. Hope we get a bed. Day 33 complete, and in the background there is our albergue for the night. Quite a nice modern albergue and pretty nice inside. First thing to say, Team Savage have deserted me. To be fair, it's been a long hard day for them. They're ravenous, and they're currently making food inside there. We did try and find somewhere to eat in town, but Sundays are a bit of a nightmare in Spain. Everything's closed, or those that are open are overcrowded, and there's a lot of people about town at the moment. So we just thought, right, let's just get something out the supermarket and make it quick. And it's a good communal thing to do, to be fair. So I've just come out of the drive of the albergue, and I'm actually on the Camino now. It's quite nice down here, so I'll wander down here as I tell you about today. So Luke, Lottie and Daisy have settled into Camino life pretty well. They've got into the routine of things really quickly, and they're loving collecting the stamps for their passport and things, for their credentials and things. So Lottie, Luke and Daisy have sort of got several pages full already on their passport. I'm slightly worried that they'll actually run out of space on their passport before Wednesday. But they're enjoying it, that's the main thing. The other thing to say is the Camino has hit them pretty hard as well, I would say, today. So Daisy's got sore shoulders from her rucksack. Lottie's got blisters on her feet, so we've had to slow down a little bit for Lottie. And Luke's suffering with sleep deprivation from there was a Brazilian guy in our dormitory thing last night, and he was snoring quite a lot. So Luke's needed a little nap this afternoon to try and recover from that. The other thing to say, the Camino today, a lot of people do the last 100 kilometers of the Camino, so from Sarria to Santiago, because you need to do at least 100 kilometers to get your credentials and your certificates and things at the end. So a lot of people just start from Sarria. So that's great, but it's meant that it's been really, really busy, this 100 kilometers. And this morning at some points it just looked a bit like a rush hour. You looked in front of you and you could just see this stream of pilgrims in the distance. And it was quite interesting because it was really misty initially. And as we got further and we climbed above the mist, we found it was sort of that cloud inversion type situation. So the mist we were in was the inversion, the cloud, and then we climbed above it and we can look back and we could see it sitting in the bottom there. So it was, that's why I didn't do any filming this morning, because we were in mist for the first couple of hours, and then beyond that Lottie was limping a little bit, so just helping her along really. So filming now, but yeah, today's gone fine. Tomorrow could be interesting because the rain's due back, and we'll have to just see how it goes. I think we'll try and start a little bit later because it's meant to dry out in the afternoon, so we'll leave it as late as we can to set off. But we've got to cover the kilometres. We've covered over 50 kilometres the first 2 days, so I'm not surprised they're struggling a little bit, suffering a little bit, but they're doing great, so all's good. All right, take care. Day 34, and it's happened. We've actually officially had to become members of the Poncho Club. So I'm going to walk past and you can see the fashion parade here as we go. Matching me, we've got Lottie. Daisy's gone for blue. Daisy's got the logo on the back. And up front, if I can catch the Grim Reaper here. And there we've got Luke, smiling away there, happy as can be. Okay, it's going to be a long day. It's early, day 34, so we're just going to keep cracking on and get some kilometres in there. We'll report back later. Bye. Day 34, a bit of an update. So the rain lasted just a couple of hours this morning. The ponchos worked perfectly well. And as you can see, the sun's out for most of this afternoon. I've got Lottie and Daisy behind me and a spin round. Luke's just ahead. So we're about 20 kilometres in today. Lottie's been an absolute soldier. She had the blisters from yesterday and she's cracking on today and pushing on through the pain barrier, I would say. But she's doing really well. We're just looking for a cafe to have a stop at, which is proving a little bit elusive. But we'll have a stop at the cafe and then we've got maybe another 6 or 7 kilometres to the albergue. Catch you soon. Day 35, penultimate day if all goes to plan. And it's a really grim, wet morning. It's hard getting up and getting going. We've just stopped for an early morning cafe break to get some breakfast. We've got about just over 20 kilometres to do today, so we're just going to crack on. Where is everybody? There, everybody. We're just going to crack on and get some kilometres under our belt. But we've got our ponchos. We'll try and take a positive out of it. At least we're getting our money's worth out of our ponchos. All right, see you later. Day 35 complete, and looking at the sunshine now, you can't imagine what a difficult day it's been with the weather. We had heavy rain literally from when we started this morning right through until we reached our albergue at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I would say the last half an hour before we got to the albergue, it got heavier than ever, and it was really, really wet at that point. But to be fair to Luke, Daisy and Lottie, they just cracked on and got on with it, and they've done really well again. I think Lottie's getting stronger and stronger now. She's got over these blisters and things. She's just sort of walking through the pain now. So yeah, no real issues there. Done 24 kilometres today. We've only got 20 to do tomorrow to get us to Santiago, so we're almost there. So I just wanted to sort of update you on a few things with Luke, Daisy and Lottie. There, after a long day, they're sort of getting showered and getting ready. I think we're having pizza tonight. I think that's the plan. I think that's what they've got their heart set on tonight. So there's a pizza place in town, so that's where we're heading later. So I'll tell you a little bit about the conversations that we've had and about the Camino, what their thoughts are. So Luke basically has said a bit today of why is it always uphill? And it has been a bit uphill today, to be honest, so that's fair enough really. He's described it as uphill and downhill and never any flat, and he says it's a bit like going constantly up and down to the beacon in Penrith, and we all know how steep that little trek is. And we have been doing a lot of woodland paths today, so it's pretty accurate what he's saying. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, and it's hard going, to be honest. Daisy's funny, as you can imagine. She's basically saying that her interest is in the animals en route. So there's lots of animals en route, whether it be farm animals, pets, insects, birds, etc, etc. And she tries to get photos of the majority of them. And she's basically said it's like a long, very narrow zoo with not many animals in it. So that's her thoughts of the Camino. I've never looked at it quite like that, but fair description, that's how she sees it. Lottie's focus is more on the numbers and the miles and the kilometres, the kilometres and the way markers, and she'll stop to take a picture of a way marker with a nice sort of neat number on it. So for instance, if there's something like 47.777, that's the one she wants a picture of, something like that. So they've all got their different viewpoints on the Camino, but they're all enjoying it in their own way and things, and I think they're having a really good time, to be honest. From my perspective, it's been a funny day because watching the way markers go down now, and we're actually at 20 kilometers to go, and it's I'm really excited to get to the end, and looking forward to that. But at the same time, I'm really sad to get to the end as well, because it's been a great experience, and it'll be sad when it comes to an end. And this is what everybody says when you get to this point. You have this mixed emotions. Yes, it's brilliant. You've done it all, but there's a hint of sadness that you're going to miss that Camino camaraderie and the adventure of it all. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment. We've got 20 kilometers to go tomorrow, and it'll be a funny feeling walking into there's a big square in the center where the cathedral is there, but that's our end point, and that's where we'll be going tomorrow. Hoping to get a good early start, and then we'll put the information up. Okay, take care. Day 36, we're en route, and we got the first 6 kilometres in fairly dry, but the heavens have opened. The conditions, as you can see behind us, are absolutely atrocious. About 7 kilometres to go, and we've stopped for a coffee break. The guys are all behind us there. Okay, so I don't think any of us want to walk into Santiago with the rain this heavy, so we're just delaying things a moment. I'm going to take a weather check, see how things are panning out this afternoon, but it is so awful, I can't tell you. Even the ponchos are struggling to deal with this, that's how bad it is. Take care. Day 36. We're finally here. We're soaked to the skin. We're all there somewhere. Where are we? There. But we're finally at the cathedral in Santiago. We're just making our way through the tunnel and into the main square. So I'll just let you soak it all up. Battered by the wind. And we're now in the massive main square. I'm going to bring that down for a second. There's the cathedral. Oh, let's put it back on again because it's soaking. It's pouring down. We're absolutely drenched to the skin. Daisy has said her feet are like fish in the sea. That's how wet her trainers are. But we've made it. We are at Santiago. I think I've done about 800 50 kilometers and the other 3 have done 120 odd kilometers. I'm just going to bring the brolly down, spin round. I think I've just walked through somebody's photo there. Never mind. There's the cathedral behind me, it's massive. Well done, you 3. We are honestly so wet today, but we've made it. We're just going to get sorted here. We need to go to the pilgrim's office and get our certificates and things like that, and then we'll be going to dry out. What we'll do, we'll come back into the square tomorrow when we've got a bit drier without our packs and everything. We'll take it in a bit more, then get some better photos and things. We've done it, but we just need to get somewhere dry, to be honest. It's so wet at the moment. Anyway, cheers for watching. Hey everybody, quick, I'm taking a video. It's the day after and the sun has finally come out in the central square. There is the Santiago Cathedral behind us. We went there for the Pilgrim's Mass this morning and saw the spectacle of the flying incense thing. I'll put that video on separately. But after, I think we've worn constantly the ponchos for 3.5 days, and finally the sun's come out and there's a little window in the weather. I'm trying to make the most of it. All right, cheers.